If you're semi-active in the Pokemon card collecting sphere, then you may be aware that a new set called Silver Tempest is about to release. And inside Silver Tempest is going to be a very highly sought after and very special looking card. It is the Lugia V Alternate Art, and it looks absolutely stunning. You can see it's got this incredible texture when the light just hits it perfectly. And while the lead up to the English release hasn't been ideal, between leaks 6 to 8 weeks before the set's due to come out, and even one YouTuber buying stolen product so that he could make a video of him opening it up early before everybody else, yeah, that desperate for views, the Japanese release hasn't exactly been plagued by such issues. That is until I saw this. If you follow me over on Twitter, you would have seen last night I had a big little suki about this, which is the 12:01 a.m. Japan Standard Time price from one of the biggest Japanese card stores for the Lugia V Alternate Art, 64,800 yen, which is an incredible amount of money for a just released card. If we convert that to USD, it's $431 US. Man, USD just keeps dipping. It's drawn by an artist named Kawayo, who is very skilled at creating size juxtapositions in their illustrations. If we look at the Lugia V Alternate Art, you can see the fisherman is tiny and Lugia V is very big, made to look bigger because of this contrast. And damn, I gotta tell you, Lugia is looking thick. In one of their other cards from the Sun and Moon era, you might have seen this one. It's the Pikachu and Zekrom. And again, the same strategy is used here. Pikachu's tiny, Zekrom is big. And I really love how Kawayo always uses like thick brush strokes around their outline. It just makes it look like a water painting. It just makes it look a little bit more brooding. I've always really liked it. And another card that you might have seen at the start of this year is the Umbreon VMAX CSR. This one's from VMAX Climax and Brilliant Stars. And again, you can see Karen's really tiny and it makes Umbreon VMAX look a little bit bigger than they otherwise would be. This is a tweet that I put up 10 minutes after, and that's because 10 minutes after the first drop, it went up in price by 5,000 yen. So now 69,800 yen. And this is just, frankly, a little bit ridiculous. If you've been a subscriber here at this channel, or you just recently joined, you may have seen a video that I put up a couple of days ago, where I spoke about essentially how it's kind of sus. You've been looking kind of sus there, Japan, with all your card prices. By the way, thanks for the very positive reception to this video. If you did subscribe from this video, thank you and welcome to the channel. The main reason I wanted to make this video today is because I wanted to bookmark the day zero or the day one prices for this set. And I use the term day zero because these are cards and this is stock that has been put into the hands of card stores before the official release. You gotta understand that these cards aren't exactly in collectors and players' hands yet. As I've filmed this video, it's 1 or 2 p.m. here in Australia, so it's 12 in the afternoon in Japan on the day it's released. I think a lot of the stock that we're seeing now has come from card stores opening up boxes early so they can list the cards on their website and sell them before the secondhand market becomes a bit of a thing over in Japan. Because when that happens, we're gonna see more supply and more stock of those cards. That's why these prices are always super sus, because it's not the free market or the secondary market deciding the price. It's literally the card stores all competing with each other. If we look at it even now, it's gone up even more. So now it's 74,800 yen, which is probably closer to that 500 USD mark. Now the thing to note is that Lugia V is a really playable card in this set. It's the main card that collectors and players are going to want to go after because Lugia is a legendary, but also the card is really strong. So Lugia V and the Lugia V Star deck is looking very promising. But that's not justification for it to be as expensive as it is this early. I mean, if you take a look at Origin Form Palkia V and the Alternate Art from Space Juggler, this is one of the most playable cards from this year, and the alt art is only 9,000 yen, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This is literally a fraction of the price, and we know how capable this deck is. Lugia V and V-Star hasn't established itself yet. So at this point, I think it's safe to say how playable a card is probably doesn't factor into the price anymore. And another perfect example of it is the Candace card. Candace. I'm not going to say because I don't want to get demonetized. But basically, this card is not that good from a play perspective. I think you draw 7, and if there's any water Pokemon or water energy in those 7, you can put them in your hand, and the rest of them, you got to shuffle back in. It's not that good, just play Irida, it's way better. But it's drawn by Naoki Saito, who is like one of the most prolific Japanese artists, not just for Pokemon, but just in general in Japan. He's got a massive YouTube channel. He's really skilled. This is what we call the Saito tax, and it's drawn by Saito, and it's a girl. It's going to be more expensive than any other card in the set. And it's 44,800 yen, which is what, 300 USD? That's very silly because this card is not playable, and it's not even that popular of a character. Nobody even remembers Candace. If we jump over to Japanese Twitter, you'll see there's a lot of people that are just very excited that they found it. Congratulations to them. For the most part, there's a lot of shock, a lot of awe at the fact that this card is selling for as much as it is. I am surprised and I'm not. And this is something we've spoken about before. I don't know why I keep acting like I'm shocked, but I think even Japanese collectors are shocked at how out of hand this is getting. This here is a screenshot from Mercari yesterday before the set had released. And yesterday is where the price precedent had kind of been set. You can see it's cheaper than what we've looked at earlier, 51,500 yen. And that's basically how it'll go. Someone will list it for a price, and then if it sells, then the next person that lists it will put it up for a little bit more. And it's a game of seeing how much you can get before people bail out. It started here at 52,000. If we look a little bit later on, we'll see there's a tweet where it's like 44,444 yen. See, told you, found it. 41,111 yen, and then up above it, 44,444. Literally just a meme number, and somebody seeing how much they can get for it before it's officially out there, before there's more supply of it. And they get quite a bit. In that video a couple of days ago, we spoke about buy lists, and this is a buy list that came out this morning. Now, if I lived in Japan and I found this card on day one, I would 100% be selling it for 60,000 yen back to a card store, because it is almost certainly going to come down in price. It is just a tale as old as time. Cards are more expensive the first day they come out when there's less supply and there's a lot of hype, and then over time they come down a little bit and then they go back up. You know, once there's less supply, once there's less boxes out there, then they go back up. And that buy price from that store, if you aren't familiar, stores offer to buy cards from you for a set price as advertisement. Social media spreads it around and then people go to the store and sell it. That buy price is real. It's probably based off Mercari's listings and sellings today, where people are selling it for 63,000, 64,000. So card stores are saying, we'll buy it off you for 60,000, you know, no strings attached, nice and easy. We just give you the cash. Then they'll sell it for 70,000 and they'll make their little profit on top of it. It's not just Card Rush doing it. Even if you look at other stores like Yute, they are also doing this here, you know, 69,800 yen. So they'll undercut them a little bit because they're trying to get, you know, just trying to squeeze their way in there as well. Big Web's mostly sold out. This is a much smaller store, but for the most part, that is the day one price before secondary market, before collectors and players are able to circulate them. Now, I'm very curious as to whether this precedent set by the Japanese version is going to carry over to Silver Tempest in 3 weeks' time, because when this card got leaked, the reception was somewhere in the middle. Not many people were very impressed by it, and a lot of others wanted to see a different style of card, which I thought was a little bit disrespectful considering Kawayo is such a fantastic artist. Not everybody has to like every card, but there's a way to go about criticizing and maybe discussing different styles. But if this sets the precedent for the Japanese set, well, the Lugia V in English is going to be extremely expensive. People were saying that Silver Tempest was going to be a boring set. I'm very curious to see if people are going to change their tune now that the Japanese version is worth upwards of 500 USD. It may very well be influenced by what creators do with this set. And big influencers, big YouTube creators will hype up sets because people get excited about them. But if they struggle to find the rare cards like okJLUV did with the Charizard V Alternate Art, then it may very well pump the card's price up way more than it really should be. Even for the most popular cards of the last year, like the Umbreon VMAX Alternate Art, these cards have been really expensive from day one, but over time have dropped in price as more supply came out there. You go and look at a chart from TCG Player, and while this data might not be exactly accurate, it paints a bit of a picture that initially the card's very expensive when it drops, and then it drops off a little bit and slowly rises in time as there's less and less supply out there. And this happens for basically every single chase card, whether it's English or Japanese, you do see this. And the main reason is because more players and more collectors get their hands on it. And once that facade or that artificial hype generated by whatever's happening online, again, I'm not saying any particular creator. I'm not saying okJLUV pumped Charizard V. I made a whole video talking about that. What I am saying is once, I guess, the luster wears off and people get distracted by the next thing, you do see the drop off in value for the card. It's nowhere near as expensive as it initially was when the hype is at its highest. So word of warning, if you are interested in collecting the Japanese sets, I wouldn't pay what you're seeing now. I think over the next 2-3 days, once more Japanese players and collectors get their boxes and open them up, they will get cheaper, much the same way that we saw with English cards like Machamp V. And then at some point when there's less supply out there and there's no more stock, yeah, it'll get more expensive. And I guess rightfully so. When a lot of people want something and there's less of it out there, it's only natural for it to go up in value. That is the nature of collectibles. It's not a bad thing. One day I'll become a real PokeTuber and put a shelf here with all my products. I don't even know what to tell you anymore. It's 9 p.m. I just finished editing this video. I filmed it at 12 p.m. You might have noticed throughout it, when I put some snippets in, the price of the card has actually gone up. It's 108,000 yen right now. Converted, what's that, like 700 USD? It's like 1,000 AUD. It's done the complete exact opposite of what I was talking about in this video. It doesn't, I don't even know, like, why did I make this video? What was even the point? I tried my best to rationalize it, to make sense of it, I guess, to decelerate FOMO. I know not, like, I feel like most collectors are pretty wisened up at this point and don't jump onto day one prices, but I thought it was worth talking about, and I thought it would come down, like, back down to reality, but it did the complete opposite. It's literally doubled.
This is insane. Like, it's legitimately insane. There was 500 people roughly lining up from 8 a.m. at a Yodobashi camera in Akihabara today. From 8 a.m. on a Friday. It's a work day. There was a 3-box per person limit. There are boxes out there. You can get the set, or at least you could today. People are opening it up. Players and collectors are opening it up, selling the rare cards. Like, there should be more of them out there. But instead, it's like there's none. It's like no one's selling it. And the price is doubling. Like, it's probably going to be double. By the time this uploads, I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone up another $100. It's just stupid. Like, it's becoming too much of a luxury. Too much of a luxury hobby. I know, it's like you try to avoid speaking about entitlement and feeling entitled, but it's supposed to be an accessible hobby. Like, you should be able to collect the cards from it. And I know it's Japanese. This is the Japanese set, but what are domestic players doing? Like, what are domestic Japanese natives doing? They're getting priced out. They can't. You buy a box, right? The best card you pull is like an Unknown V full art. It's like, what are you going to do with it? It's like 1,000 yen. It's either that, or you get the Candace or the Lugia V Alt. Otherwise, everything else is just a bust. Like, what's going on? It's at some point we're all going to get priced out, and we can't. Like, it's a rich man's hobby. It's literally just an oiler's hobby. Unless you're absolutely loaded, you can't collect Japanese cards anymore. Like, I'm getting tired. Like, this is ridiculous. It's not sustainable. I don't know. I tried my best. Last time I was playing Overwatch with a buddy, Bronze 4, and he made the point that it's getting to the point where he needs to think about selling his older cards in order to buy the newer cards that come out. So you're going to transition your old collection to newer cards. You're going to sell your old cards, which have gone up in value. But, like, how messed up is it that you have to think about selling your old cards to buy modern? Like, because if you don't get them in this first week or 2 or 3, when the set's out and there's supposed to be boxes out there, what are you supposed to do in like 6 to 12 months when it doesn't reprint, it doesn't come back? Like, if you want the card, you can't get it unless you're rich. That's basically it. If you want these cards, you can't get them now unless you're rich or if you pull them. So good luck to you. I don't know. I think it's just crazy. Like, I went and got a haircut, come back home, finish the video, and it's nearly double. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, whatever. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. I don't even know. Twitch.tv/okJLUV. That's where I stream. And join the Discord, where we're literally molding, seething and molding daily. All right, see you guys.